Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for Monday night, March 18th, 2024. Start with the hybrid swing work group here. We're working on starting with Alcoa. These are all 30-minute charts. These thick blue lines you'll see, that's the 10-day anchored VWAP. The dark orange is the 5-day anchored VWAP. The thin orange line, this one, is the 1-day just regular VWAP. Okay. And we're liking the extra insight that gives. For instance, today the move in Alcoa took off from last week's price, which was anchored pretty nicely here, and there was a big gap up and it cleared the previous resistance. So we're confident in getting long fast with a standard risk. It peaks right here. So we take the exit when price comes back to the skin of the dragon right there. It was slightly above the VWAP. So we feel like we got a value trade out of that. And that's a 2R trade. And then after that, typically it goes nowhere. So you get that early move and then it settles into the end. So 2R and Alcoa. Next one, AI. So we tried a couple on this one. We tried a 1, 2, 3 entry, and that went nowhere for a half an hour loss. I tried stopping and reversing, and that one reversed for a half an hour loss. So this was total net -1 today. And then it closed pretty well, slightly up for the day. I still like this as a swing low, and I'll be ready to get into this tomorrow because we're still well below the 5-day and 30-day anchored VWAP. This is the black line is the 30. This one is the 5. Okay. Caterpillar. This was Friday's. Just a minute. Is anybody else not hearing? No, I can hear it on mine, on my other laptop. So that may be on your end. I think it's on your end, George or Jay. Oh, and since you can't hear me, I need to type that. So Jay. All right. Back to the symbols. So this was Friday's entry on a COTA 2 in Caterpillar, which we really like because the industrial sector has been good. It closed well. It continued to improve this morning. It had cleared all previous resistance. So we added a second position, and when that worked, a third position, and it closed pretty well. So we're holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6R on the first one, 3R on the second one, 1R on the third one. So we've built a 10R cushion on this one, and we're going to continue to hold that one. It looks like a winner. Cliff, opening gap up across the Bollinger Band mean. We like that bottom. That's a COTA 2 reentry, therefore, and closed with 1 after it rolled over and came back to the VWAPs. Standard work there. CVS, we closed Friday's entry as this gapped way up and then started selling off hard. So we took it just above the VWAP and cleared 2R. Diamonds, fractional gain intraday, Disney, half an R on a COTA 2. Devon Energy, no trade. Emerging markets, this gapped way up and then rolled over hard when it came down to the VWAP and Bollinger Band mean. We speculated short. It sold off hard. We took it when it rebounded, 1, 2, 3 exit here for an R. Vicinity, the 10-day anchored VWAP. Ethereum continued its slide. EWW, COTA 2 for a scratch. Brazil, this had a big gap up and then a rollover when it crossed the Bollinger Band mean. I speculated short. It paid off with about 3R and a 1, 2, 3 exit in the usual way. The afternoon move was there. It was a tighter move, didn't play it, but it feels like that might be a local bottom. And I would not be surprised to see some value players buying this rascal in the morning. Intel tried the SSC long and basically scratched. IP, this gapped way up, sold off hard, came through the 5-day VWAP, the Bollinger Band mean, the 1-day VWAP, so I speculated short, added a second position at the 2R battle drill, and closed out by the end of the day with 4R in hand. Didn't want to hold that one overnight. Real estate, no trade. Coke, half an hour on the 1, 2, 3 entry in the morning. Regional banks, no trade. The short was there, but we didn't play it. McDonald's, no trade. Merck, no trade. Microsoft, scratched. Marijuana was a big gap up across the 30-day and 10-day anchored VWAP, and it kept going. So in standard risk, out with an R after it kind of stalled. This is where the R10 rolled over, and we took it at the VWAP. Nike, no trade. NVIDIA, big gap up and a run all the way to the top. I missed the upside move, but when it came crashing down through the VWAP, speculated short for 3R, and I didn't want to hold that one overnight, but that was an opportunity to get it while it was moving. That was a pretty decisive intraday move down. Clean energy, no trade, still weak. Palantir, that is a perfect demonstration of a supported spring crossing. You've got two really strong downward moves. Here's one, a micro little up move, and then a second big leg down. And it's well below the Bollinger Band mean, well below the 5-day and 10-day VWAPs. Bottoms out here in the morning. PSAR flip, standard risk, and it grinds nicely higher. I wouldn't object to holding that one, but tomorrow there's still plenty of time for that to make this move. And rather than take the overnight risk on a speculative tech, I just cash the one, and I will have my knives out and sharp and ready for that one tomorrow. Rivian, caught a 2 for an R. SBY was basically a grind sideways after the big move up in the morning. Treasuries are a 6-to-1 auto framer, just stabilizing here around 92. Tesla, this was a big gap up and go, speculated in. The hybrid frog entry, and it closed so well with 4R in hand. That's one I'm going to hold because I think it has a good chance to get back here to the previous 5-day high. So I'm holding that one like it. Walmart, similarly, this was a COTA 2 after about a 4-day slide back to the 10-day anchored VWAP. It held here. and gave me a 1-2-3 entry in the afternoon. And we're holding about an R. And there's the 5-day, and then there's a 5-day VWAP and the 5-day high. So we got a couple targets to the upside to shoot for. US Steel grinding, nothing, no trade. XLI tried the 1-2-3 entry, and it basically scratched for the day. The good news was it didn't get any worse, but this feels like a nice strong base with the 10-day and the 5-day VWAP all nicely clustered here, poised for a support to move higher. So I like that one. Let's see. You'll notice when we get to the daily report and the auto framer, what I've highlighted here was because today was kind of an up day. It had 0.6 plus 0.6 in the S&P. I've highlighted all the ones that are better than 3-1 and which were all better better than the market except Intel. But I like Rivian and Palantir and Tesla and Cliff. They're all better than 2-1 on the reward to risk, and they made money today, as compared to things like treasuries and PBW, which have great reward to risk ratios, but today was down. So they're harder to believe in because we don't have any upside momentum. But these guys all put in one nice momentum day, so I'm going to be watching them carefully, especially Palantir and Tesla. I like them. Here was the sniper trade of the day. This is a 3-minute in Tesla. So here was yesterday's or Friday's close. This was the big gap up. The 3-minute high, the 3-minute low. In the next bar, it broke down lower, so we get short right here. This is our standard risk in Tesla based on the R10. It sells off hard all the way down to the rising VWAP and holds. I take a 1-2-3 exit here, and that cashes for about 1R in this trade. It continues through the VWAP, which starts to rise. So I reverse here, standard risk. It runs all the way up. I missed a second position there. Probably could have had a second position here once it had cleared the high of the day. But we took one position and cashed it in a relaxed manner at the PSAR. And on 1 unit of risk, we earn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we give one back on a attempted COTA 2, which failed right away for an R. So that's -1. That negates the +1. So we end up with +5 on Tesla, and ready for that to do well tomorrow. The continuation off the low. All right, let's look at the traders. Hamad does a nice job grinding out 0.6. Gets out when it doesn't power through. He waits for the second collapsing dragon, gets a fraction, re-enters very nicely on the next collapsing dragon, cashes, gets short again and cuts it quick. Now after 2, he tries this one, it doesn't work. So he cuts it here. That's one you can get short on, by the way. When it fails to get to the VWAP, you can get short here or here. And then that trade would have paid off. I like the COTA 2. And the second shot, you cut it quick. That's pretty good work for 0.6. There may be a little bit more available in there. I'm sorry, that was NVIDIA. I meant to say, sorry. And this is Tesla 2.1. Reverses pretty nicely here after it recrosses the VWAP, crushes it. There was a second entry available here. Okay, you did get that, right? So he cashes here, then it breaks out again. So he's right back in within the same 3-minute bar and makes a perfect trade. So that's how you do it. He stays out with the chop. That's pretty good shooting. Grinding in Alcoa. I don't mind that short right there. You know, it's testing the VWAP. If that fails, it has a good chance to get to yesterday's close. So, but I like the quicker reversal. And stayed out of the chop. There just wasn't much in Alcoa to work with today. MSOS. I think we got a little in the chop here. And the second one, yeah, I would agree. A little too early, but I can't really quarrel with these other. I think it was just this first one was a problem. George, great job here on McDonald's, responding to the sell-off to capture a gain. Get some micro gain here to pay for everything. This is sort of the argument to be in favor of respecting the VWAP, the crossing of the VWAP. Finding support of the VWAP is a long signal. Collapsing at the VWAP is a short signal. You can see that in both of these locations back here. Devon Energy and the VWAP is a sensitive alert. There's a stop and reverse available in here in Coke. That's I think available. Great work here, 2.1 on Alcoa. Jonathan, we talked through this one in great detail during the small coaching session. We had a chance to go deeply into the visualization. I'm going to hang the discussion, I think, in the foundations course as well, with your permission. As a technical play, I'm not going to repeat the lesson in here, but there was a lot of good learning about how to adjust your mindset earlier in order to take advantage of the move that was there. So I'll get that uploaded in the small group coaching session here as well. All right, let's take a look at the reports. And we're looking at bullish normal. We recovered a little bit of our sell-off from last week here. Volatility is still a warning with risk off. The Russell and mid caps are both postured for potential buy on dips. So today's strength is actually an early warning about the more volatile US indexes. So keep an eye on those as tradables, starting off some intraday work that could lead into a nice swing. And the reason we say that is both of these systems, channeling an overreaction, they're conservative, purely mechanical. They work on the large indexes, and they're buy on dips during strong bulls. And both of these fell far enough that the dip was enough to suggest that a reversal is in order. So mid caps and small caps, we're good, especially sensitive to them tomorrow. That's a good one for the Kata 2 players to observe and work on too. All right, plenty of auto framers here in the ETFs. Ag continues to be strong. Brazil continues to be weak, very weak in clean energy. Strength for another day in oil. In the Dow, Boeing continues to get murdered. Caterpillar showing real strength. That's part of the argument for keeping the three positions with 10R overnight is that's the kind of upside breakout that'll get longer term traders' attention, and they may come in and start buying. Morgan, similarly very strong, as in ExxonMobil. So you got some XLI industrials, you have some XLF financials, and you have some XLE energy. Notice tech, XLK, is not to be found. So this is the rest of the market stabilizing and building some strength. If tech were to come on board, that would be very healthy. But right now, it's not tech leading the way. Plenty of auto framers and squeezes, especially in the Dow. I really like the Dow whenever it is squeezed. We've seen this one already. Lots of things in the fall, and that's natural when we've had the indexes. Had a really good 2 weeks ago. Last week was down. Today was a slight up. So that's almost like that buy on dip caught a 2 in SPY. That's why it's in the fall and it's come down 2 sigma from the Red River. That means that's a significant pullback. So that little recovery today is a buy on dip opportunity in the eyes of many. So I'm not going to be surprised if it does recover here tomorrow. There were more gainers than losers today in the Dow. Lots of goodies in here. JP Morgan and Caterpillar are the easiest to believe in. Some real weaknesses in treasuries, regional banks, Brazil. And the S&P actually had a pretty nice day. And anytime Japan is pitching in and helping, that's a good day at work too. So you combine that strength in the big indexes, and then the mid cap and small cap opportunity looks a little sharper and more interesting. And by that, I mean better. Marijuana, Tesla, clean energy in the top 3, still dominating. Apple, Devon, and USO oil. And the 90-day continues to drift. It's important. This isn't a sign of weakness as a sign of just slowing down. It's still above 2 sigma. So that's net positive. It's just that the rate of climb is no longer like a rocket. It's more like an orbit. This is the sign of weakness, but it's not collapsing like it did over in here. So it's looks like it's trying to hold. So we'll see. A crucial testing point here tomorrow. That's everything for today. We'll get this published and posted. Take good care, and we shall see you tomorrow.